I've seen people on the internet wonder about which runic alphabet would be best equipped to represent modern English. So in this video, I'm going to talk about that. The first thing I want to do, and this will make things a lot simpler, is delete Younger Futhark and knock it out of the race because it can't really do anything that Futhorc can't do and do better. I'm now going to simplify things again by removing runes that are equivalent across the three remaining runic alphabets here. Okay, now I've also deleted runes that didn't have a purpose for modern English. They could be repurposed, but that would be cheating and it would make this whole exercise pointless, so I'm not doing that. Okay, now there are sound values here. The red characters indicate that these sounds could be represented with the alphabets. It's just that they didn't have their own letters. Elder Futhark kind of complicates things because apparently there wasn't really a real V sound. There was something more like va, va. And I've heard it said that this sound was an allophone of the B rune, not the F rune. And meanwhile, the type sound was apparently an allophone of the D rune, not the Thorn rune. Now I have this over here in green and not over here in red, and that's a little misleading, but what's going on is this. So in Futhorc, they had the long branch variant and the short twig variant, and some writers would make a distinction between the two. It wasn't consistent. It's not that this was actually always the Z rune and this one was always the S rune, but sometimes it was, and sometimes the reverse was true, depending on the writer. I've seen it argued that this phoneme in Old English wasn't yet a proper j sound that we would recognize as a j sound, so one could argue that this doesn't belong here in Futhorc because it might be a little anachronistic. I might be applying a later sound value back in time, and we might not actually recognize the original pronunciation as being our modern j sound. Okay, now with all of that out of the way, I'm going to rank these. I would say that Futhorc is probably the best overall. Futhorc is second, and Elder Futhark is a kind of distant third because it doesn't really have many advantages at all. Versus Futhorc, the only real advantage it has is that it has its own Z rune, but Futhorc does have a Z rune, it's just also the S rune.